I'm Alex Charbonneau.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Emily. We are Bats in the Belfry. We
are Bats in the Belfry.
Yeah.
We all...
Tank is not a part of the band. He just
don't have to listen to her.
He wants to be.
We've been playing together for going on for over 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years? Wasn't it just our anniversary?
Yeah.
Our fourth or third year?
It was our fourth.
Okay,
yeah. But Bats in the Belfry has always been the three of us, and we all just met through different bands and playing in different groups and just kind of coming together. We're all ladies who play music. Let's do it together.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then it worked.
I was around like good old classic rock. Both my parents were into that. Zeppelin and, well, like old 70s rock, you know?
Yeah. I was definitely grew up kind of in a folk musical family band and was playing folk instruments from a young age, but grew up listening to grunge and folk and punk and country and just kind of everything, I guess.
I grew up around like kind of terrible like Celtic music that annoyed me a lot when I was a small child. No disrespect to Celtic music at all. And then I got more into like rock music when I started becoming more cool, I guess.
I definitely feel that, yeah, like, I don't know, I guess it also kind of instills like a certain just respect and love of music, even if it's not the music specifically that got us to where we sound or whatever today. It just kind of...
Probably did, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just how we like grew up with it, just always being a major part of our lives, you know, so then it's like just kind of who we are. Mine was bad because my parents made me play the violin when I was like 4, and I hated it for 10 years. But then eventually I started playing guitar, and I liked that a lot better. I feel like probably helped, you know, just learning to play instruments in general. I remember actually like when I was playing the violin, I played in like an orchestra, so that's really cool. And I don't know, I just remember like having this moment of being like, cool, it's a bunch of folks all playing together, and like just that like synchronicity of like people playing instruments together in like an orchestra, even though it wasn't necessarily my jam. It's like the same thing I get from like playing in a band. It's just like a group of people making music together. So like that's always been like super cool and something that I like strive to like achieve.
I feel like Bats is like a mini little orchestra.
Yeah.
When you really get going there, you know? Well, when you start off in a scene, like you end up just like, it's all about kind of making contacts and supporting each other and everything. So I think for all of us, having been in groups before that have toured or even just performed a few times or whatever before Bats became a thing, then you're off on the right foot.
Yeah. I also feel like learning to like take risks, like by like joining a band, or like, you know, you and your friends in whatever band, you can kind of be nervous together for like your band's first show and just sort of like take those steps.
And like the bands you're in before, you know that those guys are going to come and like support your new endeavor or whatever. Yeah. Even if they're bitter because you're so cool.
Yeah.
Let's say people who are really skilled in harmony stuff that inspires us.
Dixie Chicks.
Everyone always says Mumford & Sons too.
Split Lip Rayfield.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains.
But specifically the album Fly by Dixie Chicks is really just the harmonies, the badassness, the like kind of cheesy concept like album artwork. It's like just, you know, they're not taking themselves too seriously. They're just killing it. Yeah. And like I just also, recently really got into that one. So it's,
I remember, I feel like the first time we played together and we're really actually starting to work on harmonies and feel like what it was going to be like to develop a sound together. It was either over at my old place or at Fatal. Yeah, and
it was at Fatal, I think.
I remember I personally, like, and not even in like a cheesy way, but I was just like, this is going to be really cool. This is just the first jam and it sounds really neat. And we just did like an impromptu 3-part harmony for like an hour.
We'd like hit a harmony and we all be like,
yeah. So that was nice. So we all, even though we all kind of had our very distinct sounds and styles already, because we've all been musicians for a long time, it just felt like all of our kind of own personal genres were gonna like mesh really well. It was so good.
It was good. It was
3 years ago, like
At Esco at Buckfest.
yeah, like almost 3 years to the day. Yeah, Buckfest. Right?
Yeah, and we went. We all got little free tickets to go eat at the Mexican place right across.
That was really
right.
awesome.
I was trying to be all cool, not nervous, whatever. But I was on the inside. But then the girls were being very like, oh, nervous, like, oh my god, I'm shitting my pants. And then I started to get like really hot and like nervous. But then I think, in my recollection, we nailed it.
Yeah.
It was so good, and the place was packed. We practiced for like a whole year before that show, so that was a good decision, I think. And we have a little video of it.
Yeah, it's on the internet.
Yeah, it's on the YouTube.
We're playing The Forest.
The song's called The Forest, yeah. And they had like the pre-backline for all like the bands. They had like this big stack for my ukulele, and I was just so sick.
Yeah. I think the arrangement of instruments in Bats in the Belfry is the way it is because that's where we all were at when we came together. Like, we all can interchange.
Yeah.
But Vic had previously played mandolin in bands before, and
Someone just actually, I used to live like really close to here, and I remember my ex-boyfriend gave me a ukulele for my birthday. But then I like broke up with him like a couple of days before then. But then he gave me the ukulele anyway, and I was like, okay.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, yeah. And then that was like around the same time the Bats joined, so I was really stoked on this new ukulele. And and then like the band, then Bats became like my main thing, so then the uke also became like my main thing.
I'd like to say that because we've got kind of a crossover of a bunch of different genres, it's really nice because people's parents come to our shows. But I feel like there's just all different types of people and all different ages that feel comfortable and feel that our sound's accessible.
Yeah, we kind of
nice.
fit into like any scene, really.
Yeah, we can play with a bunch of like variety of bands too, because you have, you could play with punk bands or folk bands.
And with a little bit of notice, we could play for children.
Yeah.
Slight edits.
Yeah.
I guess we write songs about what we experience as people, but also as women, and a lot of the lyrics are like, we definitely use metaphors, but a lot of the time you can really kind of tell what we're writing about, we like that aspect of it, We like leaving not too much to the imagination, I think.
And I feel like writing about like the human condition, it's like sort of implies that like a shared, like these like sad or whatever emotions are like a shared thing among like all people, so we can write this like super personal song and then people will actually get it, it's like, even though it might feel like, oh, this really sad thing is happening to me, but like other people will be like, I feel you, man, me too.
But it's best when it's told from people who have experienced it or people who have solidarity with a group of people who have experienced it. But definitely, it doesn't feel taboo like when we're like expressing it, because it's just like an honest experience, It's something that you can't really take from someone else, and sometimes, and it's also important to incorporate like a certain sense of humor too about your whatever it is that you're singing about, or even if your song is sounds sad, if you just have like a way of delivering it that's not, the content doesn't always have to match the delivery or.
Yeah, like that song Million Cats that I wrote, probably gonna be a cat lady. Like, I really feel like there's like this weird spookiness between music that you put out there and
being like self-fulfilling
prophecies. And actually Alex and I the other day were like sitting commiserating at the kitchen table, and I was like, why did I write that song again? Like, my life was going so good at the time. Well, no, it wasn't really. But anyway, I was just like, and then, just there's always a million cats. And like, I love Guillaume, but like, Guillaume's not a man,
I mean,
he thinks he is. He's a good snuggler, but yeah.
It's always different. I feel like almost every song is different.
Yeah. Sometimes we come with like, one of us will have a song mostly written, and then we'll work it out, or we'll all write together.
Sometimes it's just like one riff that like involves like two chords or something, and it'll be like, that'll be something.
Yeah. Once we went to a cabin. You wrote one song there.
Yeah. We played one song for like 3 days straight. The song's gonna be on our album. It's coming up. It's called Strange Things.
Yeah. And lately we've been kind of messing around with like a bit more dissonant sounding harmonies, and so like listening to kind of 90s
Like Alice in Chains
stuff, like those harmonies that you just don't expect, and you're like, is that even on key? And you're like, oh yeah, it is. It's just very weird and awesome.
Yeah.
We kind of design melodies just like, we're obviously all very excited always to design harmonies when we're starting a new song, because that's kind of what it's all about, but we just try to make sure that a song is dynamic.
Yeah, I feel like lately we're trying to sort of use harmonies like a little bit more sparingly so that they sort of stand out a little more. And we've also, I feel like we've noticed during the mixing process, like any engineer that's ever worked with our music, like they're like, how's this mixed? We're like, no, the voices all need to be like even. And like I feel like that's kind of like a pain in the ass for like any sound person or like engineer, you know, like that's a very hard thing to achieve, is to have that level. Like not so much when we're just acoustic, like singing together, but anytime you start miking us and like recording it, it's hard to have like
They all have to be like at the same level, but we don't sing at the same level.
Yeah, and like it's just, but yeah, some of our songs we're harmonizing like the whole way through, but I don't know, it's nice to sort of,
Those epic parts.
yeah.
Full harmonies.
So positive.
Yeah.
Always like really positive reaction. I feel like people feel like they can come up and talk to us after we play, which is nice. And that's kind of our style too. Like it's nice to connect with people who have listened after we do it, because I feel like every performance means a lot to us, you know?
Yeah.
Even if we're feeling kind of shitty or whatever, it's like, okay, once we're on stage, that little moment is like separate from everything else. And
Yeah. But also like we make mistakes and we giggle a lot, so people automatically kind of like feel comfortable talking to us after, or just laugh with us while we're on stage. So many things.
So many things. Our kind of the show that's going to kick off our summer is our Pusa Fest show. So we're really excited about that. That's happening in May. And we have our second album, Make No Bones, which is going to be released when the weather gets warmer. Just putting some finishing touches on that.
A little tour.
Yeah, maybe
Festivals.
get back in the studio for a little bit.
Yeah.
We've been working really hard on releasing our second album, so I feel like right now we're all sort of focused on like that specific thing, and then we're gonna see